My baby is having a good time out there. So you might be hearing him in the background. But I wanted to share this with you. This is 1 Corinthians uh, chapter 5, verse 9 through 13. And it says this: I wrote to you in my epistle not to keep company with sexually immoral people. Yet I certainly did not mean with sexually immoral people of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or idolaters, since then you would need to go out of the world. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral, or covetous, or an idolater, or reviler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, not even to eat with such a person. For what have I do with judging those who are already on the outside? Do you not judge those who are inside? But those who are outside God judges. Right? Therefore, put away yourselves the evil person. So I just thought this was a dope verse, man, from Corinthians, because a lot of times when we hear these verses, we take this and say, okay, uh, I'm going to keep away from sexually immoral people. I'm going to keep away with people who are covetous, extortioners, idolaters, people who are sinning in the world. But in this verse, he clearly says pretty much that's not what he originally intended when he wrote that. And he wrote that in a later epistle in Thessalonica 3:6, 6 through 15, verses 6 through 15. And that's what he was referring to. So people take these scriptures and they misunderstand what he was saying. He was saying not to keep away from people outside of the world, because he was like, that's pretty much impossible. That's what he's saying in verse 11. In verse 10, he says, since then you would need to go out of the world. That is pretty much saying, like, it would be impossible. You will have to be like on another planet to, you know what I'm saying, keep away from people who are sinners, right? And we're not called to go live in a cave, but the Bible says, let our light shine before, men, let our light shine. And in order to let your light shine, you have to be in a place where you're shining in darkness, right? So I thought that was interesting. It says, but now I have written to you to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral, or covetous, or idolatrous, or reviler, or drunkard, or an extortionist, not even to eat with such a person. So what he's saying right in verse 11, he says, with anyone named a brother. So anyone named a brother is referring to a Christian, not person who is outside the world, but who we call brothers in that term is Christian, who a brother who is sexually immoral, covetous, or idolater, who is practicing these sinful things. He says don't even eat with a person like that, because back then in the day, and it still is even today in a sense, that when we are eating with each other, it's a sense of communion. So it's a sense of unity that we're together. So if you're eating with someone who is practicing those things, what you're virtually saying, pretty much saying, is that you're in unity with them. You know what I'm saying? And we know that a Christian has no part of being in unity with the person who is in sin. And it says in the later verses, for what have I do with judging those who are on the outside? That's why he says that. We have no place to judge people necessarily on the outside. Now we have to look at things with righteous judgment and realize God has already judged them through his word, right? But he's not calling us to necessarily judge them. That is God's business. It says, do you not judge those who are in the inside? He says you have the authority to judge people in the inside. So that's people who are in the church, people who are Christians and brothers and sisters just like you. We have to be able to take rebuke sometime. And sometimes the church is not able to take rebuke from one another. But the Bible is calling us to be able to take those things. And we'll be able to call sin out in the church. It's good to call sin out that's going out there as well. It's easy to do that. But we also have to be able to call sin out. Mostly, that's what he's saying. We have to be able to call sin out in the church exclusively, actually. So, it says, but those who are outside God judges. So he says God judges those on the outside. Therefore, put away yourselves the evil person. So that's saying the evil person among ourselves. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was a dope verse. Yeah.